Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? This is the BeBall Jones podcast, your number one and favorite and go-to basketball podcast, the BeBall Jones podcast, with the man, defensive player of the year himself, Nelson Haskin, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. Still trying to figure this entrepreneurship thing out and grow and elevate myself, man. How's everything going with you with basketball and everything, man?
Basketball is good. Doing the best I can. Been playing well. Trying to myself to that next level. You know what I'm saying? Just work hard every day and trying to make sure I'm good enough and prepared enough to make it to where I want to be.
Okay. So with that, where you want to be, man? Like, what is the end goal for you? Like, where do you see your next level being?
Oh, the next level is becoming a pro. Of course, I want to be a pro, wherever that may be. I'm most likely going to go play overseas somewhere. Just throw a couple places out there. Like it'd be real cool if I go play somewhere like Italy or like Germany, things like that. That's really the goal right now. That's the next level is to get that overseas or pro contract.
I got a question for you, man. If, of course, as growing up, we all dreamed of going to the NBA, right? So would you feel like you failed in your career if you don't make it to the NBA? Like, of course, you're going to go overseas and over pro. Like, being very realistic, that's right now the route that it looks like you're going. But, you can finagle that, finesse it to where you do go get a tryout or you do go to the summer league or whatever, and you get a chance to go to the NBA. So would you feel like if you never got that chance to go to the NBA, that's a failure?
No, I would say that. I'd be very happy if I played. My thing has always been I want to be a pro for at least 10 years. That's been my like reaching for the stars. I want to play professionally for at least 10 years. Like not retiring until I'm like 33, 34. I done got my prime years out the way pretty much. And I gave the game everything I had to do. If I go longer than that, that's cool, great, great. But I see how my body feels, and what's going on in my life at that time. But my thing has
You
always been, be a pro for 10 years. I had a great career. Like can't nobody tell me nothing. I mean, really can't nobody tell me nothing if I'm a pro no way. But pro for 10 plus years, you a real pro. Like that means you handled your business, took care of yourself. You played the game the right way. And so that's all. That's been my thing. So whether that means I went to the NBA or if I played 10 years in one overseas country, or if I played 10 years in multiple countries, whatever, I'm good with that. As long as I did what I got everything out of my talent, and made my money, took care of my family, and what have you. That's all that matters to me.
like that, man. 'Cause I feel like sometimes we don't give players the balanced view of what success is. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes we only hold them to a certain standard or have certain expectations of what success and failure is or what it looks like for everybody across the board. You know what I mean? So like, let's think about how the early 2000s, right? After Jordan retired, everybody's looking for the next Jordan. And it was so many players that were set up for failure by comparing them to Jordan. When actuality, they were a good NBA player. They would have had a great career. And then some of them, like Vince Carter, he went on to have a good career. You feel me? But because he was compared to be the next Jordan, he fell short. He failed. You know what I mean? Like, of course, he ended up falling short, failed because he never won a ring or nothing like that. But I'm pretty sure he right now is content. You know what I mean? He had a great career. He played 20 some years and did all he could. You feel me? So I just feel like we have to be more nuanced or more educated when we talk about success and failure for players. Because like you said, you want to have a 10-year career and be able to say you've done that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I played in Italy and Germany or Australia, wherever, and I did that. I was getting paid to do what I love. You feel me? And I feel like we need to have more um what's a simpler word I can say, but just more intelligent discussions around what success is for each player. Because once again, what success is for you might not be for your teammate. You know what I mean? So I feel like let's talk about that, man. What can you define, or how can we get smarter about what success is for a player?
Well, I have the perfect answer for this. So, success is relative. Like what's successful to someone might not be successful to another. Just like what might be a lot of money to somebody might not be a lot of money to another person. Like to some people, $1 billion, like money, that's a lot of money. But if I gave $100 to a homeless man, that's a lot of money to him. So success is different to everybody. Talking about basketball or sports in general, but mainly basketball. Three things determine success for a player. People love, and Steven Jackson said it best. Some people love the game, people love what it does for them. With that being said, three things is what you can get out of playing the game. You can get money, of course. Everybody loves money. So some people's success might be how much money they can make, how much money they can get out of their career before it's over with. So, whether that be millions, billions, maybe, you can get money. You got individual success, such as like MVPs and endorsements, a little individual awards, things like that. Maybe championships, finals MVPs, whatever in terms of the NBA, things like that. Individual success. What I do as a player. Maybe I'm an all-star, bunch of years, Hall of Fame. Some people just want to be as good as they possibly can be. And then third is team success. Somewhere where we can win. I want to win. Winning is the only thing that defines them to a lot of guys. Those are the three things that determine success when it comes to athletes. So and everybody's different. Some guys really don't care about the individual awards. They want to play, they want to be good. That's all well and fine. But at the end of the day, they want to make their money. I might go to the team that pay me the most money. That's how I define my success. How much money I can get. And then some people that's like, nah, I gotta win. I gotta be on a team that's gonna win. Gotta surround me with talent. Gotta be on a team that fit me. Win games and things like that. And some people care about individual talent. How many points can I put up? Records I can break. Things like that. Their individual accolades. Define that as a success. That's why you see guys like Shaq out here talking to Charles Barkley crazy. You don't know nothing about that because you don't got no rings.
I didn't have Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant carry me up and down the court.
So why you not Hall of Fame? Because I got 3 Finals MVP, Chuck. Google me, Chuck.
Everybody knows you were a great player. You see that? Everybody knows you were a great player.
You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to champions. You ain't got to repair nothing.
Defined his individual success based on he defined success for himself as what his individual success. How many championships he won, his rings, his finals MVP, things like that. That's how he defines his success. And then now that his basketball is over with, he's making money. That's how he defines success now. That's why he got all these endorsements and stuff. And then you got guys like Mike Jordan. He out here. Like he want the team success. He need everything that is owed to him. He want to win. He cussing out his teammates. Like y'all got to get right because we not gonna win if y'all don't. That's what you can tell. Mike determine his success by what his team does. Like he ain't trying to lose. Then you got guys that just want to make them some money. You can find them all over the league. You just point to some random team and be like, all right, he just wants some money. He come in here, go to practice. He can show up to practice 5 minutes before and leave when it's over, and he go do what he do. So that's pretty much it for me. That's how players define success in my mind. So what you think about it?
I really like that. Dang, that's actually perfect, bro. Like I ain't got too much to say. Like that's actually really perfect. I feel like that's what the biggest things, especially talking about pro players, that we all say what motivates them or what we define them as successful as. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like all players can agree to that too, to where I get the situation, I'm looking for the biggest contract, whoever can sign me for the most money. Like, I feel like each level of play will determine what their success is. You know, a if I'm Rondo, you know, am I looking to have the biggest legacy and the biggest impact as far as, do I want to go after John Stockton's assist record? Do I want to have um you know, individual accolades of having triple doubles, whatever, or do I want to go with the team that can get me wins, or do I want to make the most money? From LeBron, that's a whole different conversation. If I'm a rookie coming in and I'm the 35th pick, you know what I mean? Like each level of player that you are changes the lens of how we view what we're going after. You feel me? So if I'm a journeyman, if I'm Udonis Haslam right now, right? Like you said, we either have players who play for the love or play for the love of what the games bring them. And I feel like he's at a position where, like, how old is it? Like 41, I think. Like he's playing
Yo,
because he loves the game. Like obviously, you know what I mean? He ain't making no crazy amount of money. Like he's obviously like vet minimum, probably making no more than 5 million a year, maybe. Like that's not a lot of money. Well, by NBA scale, it's not a lot of money. It's not nothing compared to the Steph Curry, Dames, and KDs and stuff. Like he ain't making pennies to that. You feel me? But he's enjoying what he's doing now. He's playing for the love of the game. He loves being around the game and being able to do all this. You feel me? So I feel like we can't condemn Udonis Haslam for playing for the love of the game and for trying to have team success, but then condemn a Kevin Durant for wanting to have the exact same thing. Like he's trying to get rings. That his goal is to get rings, to get as good as he can to where he can win rings. How they go about it is the issue. Udonis Haslam was drafted by the Heat in 03. He's been there since he could breathe. You know, that's his NBA career. He's been in Miami. KD's bounced around. This is his 13. He's getting crucified for it. But their goal, what they view as success, is the same thing. But one's getting killed, one's getting praised. You know what I mean? So we have to have more intelligent or more thoughtful conversations about what success is, what success is for players. And I feel like I don't know if we ever really get there. I really don't. Do you feel like we could get there someday? Like we have a legit, more intelligent conversation around what a player's success is?
Probably not, because like I said, it's different to everybody. And you know, nowadays everybody, you know, the Twitter fans and things like that, and like guys on TV, everything's defined by success. Success is defined by what a team does. Like success is defined by when you're winning, how you affect winning, what have you done? Like it's a what have you done for me lately business. But that's only to the biggest names, you know, the all-stars of the league. Nobody looking at Mills saying Patty Mills not successful. Like, what has he accomplished? Nobody's saying that, because he's doing what he should be doing. He's a good player in the league. He plays his role. So nobody's looking at him like, man, what has Patty Mills done? Like, he's not accomplished anything. He's not done anything. But then on the other hand, people look at Damian Lillard and be like, Dame ain't had no kind of success. He don't have no rings or no MVPs or anything like that. But Dame a whole heck of a lot more successful than Patty Mills in the grand scheme of things. But it just levels to it. It's like, okay, you an all-star, you a superstar. You need to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be on this level. Like, this is our expectations of you. If you a superstar or whatever, face your team, you need to be leading them to the finals or to conference finals. You need to be winning MVPs, something. You need to be a great player. But it ain't gonna be that. So success is different. It's differentiated through different players. Like, what we consider successful for LeBron is championship. Play period. No matter who on his team, what team he played for. From the first days at Cleveland, since the first time he made it to the finals, and then he went to Miami, and then they made it to the finals 4 years straight. That finals a bust for LeBron James. He ain't make it to the finals. Like, it's a failure. Like, this is a failed season. Even if he in Cleveland and his second best player is Kevin Love and his third best player is Matthew Dellavedova. finals, LeBron, or it's considered a failure. And then you better be close to winning unless you play in the Warriors, because then it's like, But anyway, now he at the Lakers, his first year at the Lakers, folks was picking the Lakers to go to the finals over the Warriors, over who was good at that time in 2019. They was picking them to go there over the Warriors. They picking them to go there over the it was still the Rockets. Yeah, like they was like they did not care.
Didn't Kawhi there?
Kawhi wasn't there yet. That was the next year Kawhi went, because that was when the Raptors won championship in 2019.
You're right.
So that was the thing. It's just like LeBron being there, like, is considered going to the finals. No other player has that success bar. No other player has that bar set for them. And so now, then the next year they get AD. Now it's like championship or bust, because now you got a championship caliber team. Then they do it. Cool, good. The next year, have some injuries and then, whatever. But people still thought LeBron was going to pull it out, because you remember they played the Suns in the first round. They thought LeBron was going to pull it out. AD hurt, Bron got a bad ankle. They were like, oh, Bron on the floor, they going to win. Success is different for every player, so there'll never just be a singular bar of success for every NBA player. Because if it was, some NBA players would be up here. Some of them will be. So it's just hard. Like, it's just that expectations part of things.
I'm not trying to say we should have a point where it's like a standard all across the board. You're successful or failure if you're above this line or below this line. Like you said, like each player individually has one of those three things. Like I feel like all three players want all three things, but how they prioritize it and rank it is how they view success. So I remember Derrick Rose, when he was with the Bulls? Yeah, I think he was with I don't know if the Bulls or Knicks. I'm pretty sure it's the Bulls. But the knee injury, he had the whole situation when he was disappearing for a minute. We didn't know what was happening, what was going on. And he was saying how the team or whatever saying he was healthy to come back and play. He was like, nah, he ain't ready yet. He's, doing his thing. And he finally came out and spoke, and he was like, I'm not feeling good to play right now. I want to do all I can to make sure I'm at 100%, because by the time I'm retired and when I get older, I'm gonna be able to pick up my son and play around with him. Like, I want to be able to move well, because I did everything I could while I was playing to make sure I was good long-term. He played the long-term game.
Right.
But of course, he wants to win. You feel me? But he has to juggle and balance that to where it's like, okay, do I sacrifice my body now to where long-term I give up my body and I can't play with my son as I want to? Or do I prioritize my son first, but still do what I can to make sure the team has success and wins? Charles killed him. I think Shaq killed him. A lot of OG players killed him because they're like, players walking around with cricket fingers and stuff because the ball jammed and dislocated, sprained their fingers and all this stuff. Charles got bad hips and knees. Kenny, he can't walk straight. Shaq hand messed up. Like all the stuff that comes with the game of being banged and bruised up. And I forgot who they're talking about, but somebody else, like Larry Bird, has back issues. All the players have something wrong with them, you feel me? But they were kind of killing him because Derek said, I don't want to be as crippled as y'all are. I want to be able to enjoy my money, enjoy my family, and still ball and play. There's nothing wrong with that. You feel me? Like, that's what he says he wants to do. So now, back to success. He views success as being able to have a great career. I want to win a ring, of course, but long term, I want to be good with my family. I want to be able to play with my son. So can we crucify his career if he doesn't win now because of our expectations? You see what I'm saying? Like it's a real iffy thing that we're kind of doing right now.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, because it was just like I said, it's the expectations that was put on him at the time. It's like he was the star of the Bulls and a young rising star because, he was the youngest MVP and things like that. So it was just unheard of at the time for like a superstar player to be cleared to play. Like, he good to play and not play. But I completely understood what he was saying. Like, At the time, I was like hoping he'll play because I like Derrick Rose. I was like, man, he tough. But at the time, I think that, but on a personal note, I feel like they hit the Bulls, organization did him dirty. Like, if he not gonna play, put out there that he cleared to play, putting all that extra pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? They make him look bad. They make him like he just don't want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, just that thing of expectations. Like, we expect you to want to be good. Like, you're our best player. You're our star. We expect you to want to play and do all you can for us to win. And that's the thing. Like, outside of being that athlete, fan or any kind of analyst or just anybody on the outside looking in, you expect him as the star to do everything he can for them to win, for the team to be successful, right? Because you're a fan of that team or you're watching that team play. So you expect him to do everything he can for the team. Nobody looking at him saying, do all you can for yourself. You good. Nobody really saying that. That's the only thing about it. And like you said, he sees success as like, okay, I want to make my money. I want to hoop. I ain't no doubt in my mind he loved basketball, because if he did, he wouldn't be playing right now through all the struggle he had.
Yep.
But the way he defines success is he want to hoop and still be able at the end of his career enjoy his money and move well and enjoy his life. Not be out here, not being able to walk straight and stuff like that. Not being able to pick up his son and play with him, or go to take his son to the park and play with him or anything like that. And I'm with him on that. If that's how you define success, that's great. Good for him. But on the outside looking in, people want him to do what's best for the team and not what's best for him, because they hoping for the team success or whatever. And they don't, and like we as fans or anything, or people just like watching the game, like I said, we put our own views of success on the player. We want them to do this to be successful. If you don't do this, you're not successful.
Yep.
So him saying, I don't think I'm good to play, that was hindering his success in our mind. Like, oh man, what you mean you ain't trying to play? You're an MVP, man. You the star. We need you out there, things like that. Like that in our minds hindering his success. But in his mind, he's doing what's best for him. So it's just like, it's all personal at the end of the day. Like, we all have our own definitions of success. Like, and you can't really change that for no one person or player. It's all individual at the end of the day.
I just thought about this, man. Like, I'm not trying to make this all about Derrick Rose, but like, I think sometimes coming into the league, how you view success would change throughout your career. Because of course, going in, I want to win the ring. I want to do all this. Like, that's what every player wants. You want to win the ring. You want to be successful. You want to pass Jordan and win 6 rings. You want to be like Bill Russell, have 11 of them things. But as your career develops and goes on, I feel like that'll change. So as a rookie, if you interview somebody as a rookie, I plan to do this, that, and the third with my career, whatever. Interview them year 5. I would love to do this, but this is what I want to do now. Because you see, like, you start seeing the path, you start seeing it right on the wall. Like, I might not get these rings. I ain't looking too good. If he gets blessed enough to have year 10, it's like, yo, right now I just want to keep playing. I just want to stay in the league and do this in the third. And like, of course, Derrick Rose coming in, ambitious. I want to win MVP. I want to do this, that, and the third, whatever. But as the injuries piled up, he is like, yo, this ain't what it's cracking up to be. Like, as somebody who's dealt with injuries and with my knee problems, I think that's probably the most underrated aspect of the game, or one of the most underrated aspects of how injuries affect you, not just physically, but mentally, because your body's literally everything for the game. Like, your body is like the number one thing as an athlete. And if you're not, if mentally you don't feel like your body's okay, that's throwing off everything. Like, you rolled your ankle, you feeling yourself a little bit like, I don't know if I can plant right now because my ankle a little messed up. I don't know if I can cut like I want to. I don't know if I can jump or land if I need to. So now your whole game is tweaked, even if by percentage points, because of one little thing. So imagine how he felt dealing with major knee injury. I'm just talking about like a sprained knee or whatever, major knee injuries that knocked him down back to back to back. So I'm going from the most athletic, explosive athlete, probably, or basketball player of all time, to 2 or 3 knee injuries. I don't remember what it was at the time, but multiple knee injuries, multiple knee surgeries within the span of like 2 or 3 years. His perspective on life in the game has completely changed now. And so now how he views success is completely different from how he was as a rookie. I don't know. I don't think he had kids as a rookie. I don't know if he had a girlfriend or whatever. But as a man, he came into the league at 18, 19. Now he's 23, 24, 25. Of course, he should change. He should change of things in life because you're a kid or a young man to a little bit older young man. So it's like his perspective and view on life should change at that point. And so I'm pretty sure he's like, yo, these championships and stuff, I still want that, but like, I just want the heat. I just want healthy knees. That's really all I care about right now. Because when you get beat up so much with injuries, it affects you mentally to where it's like, yo, I can't even get out the bed without pain. I can't go down the steps without pain. I can't get in and out of my car without pain. Like your day-to-day living is so different to where now it affects you on the court and it changes how you do that stuff. So I feel like that played a role in all of that. And so now getting back to kind of get back on topic now, it's like, think about all the players who've had some type of life-changing thing to where they had money, they had a contract on the table, and they lost it. Oh, snap. I'm trying to do what I can to secure the money, to secure the bag now. Or like Dennis Schroeder. He had a big deal on the table. He lost it. The Celtics only offer him X amount of money. He's like, oh, everybody trying to call him a bum. He lost all his money because he didn't get this deal. Maybe he didn't want that big deal. Well, maybe he's actually content with the money he has now because, once again, his success is championship. I feel like this team can win me championship. I want to play whatever it is. Like I said, individually, it could be, I just want to be a starter. I want to be the man. I don't want to be a bench player. Make my money, start, get my stats, and I'm good. But he's a failure now because he can make all the money he can, or he's a failure because he don't play for the Lakers and he's not a championship contender. Maybe he's good. And I feel like you said before, we can't put our expectations on players because that's almost, I mean, I get it. Like, I completely understand. I'm not trying to say we should baby everybody and be like, nobody
do
has
this. You can.
Yeah, like everybody gets a gold star. I hate that junk. But at the same time, like I said, be more nuanced and have a little bit more intelligent conversations when we're talking about this because it's not one thing across the board. We can't hold everybody to the Jordan standard. That's illogical. So if KD doesn't get 6 rings, he's automatically eliminated from the GOAT conversation. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that standard across the board doesn't make sense. And so I feel like we have to do a better job of defining success. First off, I remember Stephen A saying this. He judges players off of what they say. So if they say they want to do this, okay, when I report, I'm talking about that. You said this, so I'm holding you to that standard. And I think we have to do that combined with our view of what their potential could be. And I feel like that's, for me personally, where we can go with the success talk for each player. So do you feel like that's a great standard to go towards, or that's more of a, like, do you see a flaw in that?
I mean, my thing is just we gotta get the most out of your potential, your talent. I feel like there might be like that might be more of a biased viewpoint, but I feel like if you got all you could out of your talent, so that's why we look at guys like KD, LeBron, Steph. We look at them different because we see them. We like, okay, you're clearly better than a lot of your peers, or you're on a higher level than the average player in the league. So, in my opinion, I feel like we want to get, if you got the most out of that talent, despite what money you make, you're gonna make money, despite how much team success you have, whatever. You got all you could out of your talent, you were successful. So that's why we say, I'll give you an example. Like, we look at Melo, and people act like Melo's a failure because he don't have no rings and nothing like that. And then, we look back and be like, he chose to play for the Knicks and make more money over playing with the Heat when they was doing their thing with Bron and D-Wade and Bosh. He missed out on his ring. Some people look at him as a failure. But in reality, it's like, Melo ain't stopped being good. He ain't stopped being Melo at the end of the day. Yeah, he don't have no rings or nothing like that, but nobody doubts how good he was or how good he is. I think if you got all you could out of your potential, you were successful in my mind. And I feel like that's how we should view it from now on. And and I feel like we should put more expectations on teams, individual players. Like how we say, has no help. Yeah, we can say that when Bron shows up, because Bron shows up most of the time. But LeBron is the only player we ever get that luxury to. He ain't got no help. Nobody ever says, man, KD ain't got no help. Man, Steph ain't got no help. People very rarely say that. First time I ever heard people saying that was like last year when Steph really ain't had no help when Klay was hurt and Draymond was there, but Draymond giving him 11 and 8 assists. And it's like, man, we need somebody to get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Folks were saying that about Steph last year. Folks were like, man, Steph ought to be MVP and this, that, and the third, but he ain't got no help. And then, I was saying that about my guy Giannis. Like, man, if Chris Middleton show up, they're going to win the game. But if he don't, they're going to lose because Giannis there every day. But nobody was giving him that luxury in the media and stuff like that. Nobody was out here saying Chris Middleton. Well, some folks, I ain't going to say that. Some folks was saying Chris Middleton isn't helping them. But if the Bulls would have lost the Nets or in the finals to the Suns, it was going to be on Giannis. That's just how it goes. So if we shift our perspective more to success individuals, I feel like it'll be a more fair playing field because it's like, like I said, success as a player, I feel like it's defined by your potential and how much you got out of that. And then but your team success, that can only be defined like by what y'all actually did. That's the only thing we can look at and be like, all right, what actually happened? If your team was successful, then we'll have something we can point at and be like, all right, yeah, he did this or they did this. Because like what Bron did in the 2016 finals, leading every statistical category, he was successful. Excuse me. He was successful. At the end of his success, we can look at him and be like, okay, he really was that guy. Sorry, I need to. But yeah.
So I get what you're saying. So like, okay, let me ask you this. Let's go to KD, right? He has like 4 scoring titles. He's won 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs, right? So with him being lumped in that conversation, it's arguably the greatest scorer of all time. Like it's him, Kobe, Jordan. People throw Kareem in there. Like arguably the greatest scorer of all time, right? So with him having the title of the greatest scorer of all time, if he retired right now, we've had a conversation off air, off recording, about him, quote unquote, being a failure because, like you said, all the talent that he has, and not a failure, but not living fully up to expectations, right? So for somebody like him, Kyrie, probably the most skilled player of all time. James Harden, probably he's in the conversation too, one of the greatest scorers of all time. If each of those guys retired right now, can we say that they've quote unquote failed, right? Because you look at KD, like I said, the 4 scoring titles, 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs. He won an MVP, and he's had some really great teams, really great runs, all that stuff. James Harden won an MVP, had 2 of the craziest years, or really one of the craziest seasons we've had in a long time with that scoring team he had. We were averaging about 40 for like most, like maybe 2/3 of the season, something like that. Kyrie, like he's a highlight package waiting to bust out once he touches the ball. You feel me? So he has 2 rings. He has 1 ring. I'm tripping. So, like, can we say that they have failed, quote unquote, with their career?
So I say no for KD because similar to what I said to Melo, we saw the best of KD. We know what he can do. It's like, no, we all have respect for KD. Like, what he did now, the Warriors failed, like we don't really have a lot of respect for those rings and things like that, but we know what he could do. He played his role. It'd be different if he went to the Warriors and he was like a role player or like, just a good player on their team, but he was still the star. Like, you could tell this is like, he was the guy. And so I feel like we could say KD was not successful because, like, even like you said, even now we look at him like one of the best scorers of all time. With Kyrie and James, it gets tough there because James got one MVP.
Should have had two, but your boy took the other one. So
yeah, he took it. yeah, James got an MVP, but it's hard. And all the good teams he had, ain't never been to the finals. Ain't never could never beat the Warriors. Things of that nature. And that's like, obviously the Warriors are formidable opponents, but like there was years we thought they could do it. And then James has had capable teammates like Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard. Like he had some capable teammates on his team. So in my opinion, yeah, we could say he didn't get all he could out of his success. I mean, out of his potential. And then there's some years we can point to where we say James didn't show up in the playoffs. And then Kyrie, I'll say for Kyrie too, because Kyrie had the Cleveland years. First year with LeBron, he got hurt in the playoffs, and then the second year they won championship. And then after that, and then after that third year they lost to KD and the Warriors. Then he left, and then he went to the Celtics. And we thought they would be good. Him, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, thought that was going to be a big core for them. Then, that fell apart. And then he goes to Brooklyn. And now he out here, like, picking days off, saying he needs time away from the game, things like that. All well and good, take care of yourself. But, then he don't want to get vaccinated. Now he's not playing regularly. So I'd have to say we probably will have to call Kyrie a failure in terms of his potential because he didn't get all he could out of his game. Like you said, he'll walk a highlight reel. Everybody know how good he is. Like just a couple days ago, he played the first game he didn't play in months and had 22. Everybody can't just do that. Like he got so much talent and potential. Still in his 20s, I think. I think Kyrie like 28, 29, something like that.
yeah, he late 20s.
So he got years left to play, but he's not getting all he can out of his potential. So like you said, if they retire today, I think we have to call them two quote unquote I hate to use the word failures because like they accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
But like, but in terms of what we talking about, they just did not get all they could out of their potential. So we have to call them quote unquote failures. But KD, he defined his success. Like, no disrespect on KD name. Like, we know what he could do. That's a bad man. Like, it's just one of those things, though. Like, KD got all he could out of his talent. He played what he could play. He gave it his all. And at the end of the day, he proved what he could do. And that's not to say Kyrie and James didn't prove what they could do because they did, but they just did not prove it year in and year out like KD has and other players have.
So if James came out and said that, all right, I'm retiring today, guys. I can't do this no more. And I can retire feeling good about myself, right? I feel like I gave all to the game. I feel like I maximized what I could do every year. I went in and trained, ate right, all this stuff, right? Can we still say that he quote unquote failed? Because like we said before, you can look at individual. He has 2 scoring titles, an MVP, signature move that, he left his thumbprint in the game with that. So now can we sit back and say that he's a failure because he didn't get a ring? Even if it was his fault, or we can point to him mainly as a big reason why the Rockets couldn't get over the hump a year or two, right? Can we really sit here and comfortably say that he quote unquote failed? Because let's say he did win a ring, right? One of those years, but he still fell short 2 other years. Would that be a failure? You know what I mean? Because it's so touchy because it's like literally like I'm that close to getting there. And I have more failures than this one success. And so now you're going to hold me more to these failures than these success. So it's like now I'm completely a failure. You know what I mean? So how would you handle from that perspective?
So that's the thing. Like, it's just about getting the most out of your potential. So like you said, let's say he did win a ring, but he lost those other years. the thing about James that I mainly point at to be a failure, to be considered a failure, is because there is years we can point to where we can say James did not show up, like when they most needed him, playoff time, things like that. There was times where James got the record for most turnovers in the playoff game and things like that. You remember those years? Like, there was times we could point to, be like, he didn't do what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? And then, but if he did, like I said before, James ain't never even been to the finals. Never been to the finals. So that's why I say, like, let me say this too. He didn't go to the finals, and he was on a finals caliber team. Let me say that. And so that's why I could say, like, okay, he didn't have true success, or like he failed in my eyes. Now in James Harden's mind, like, you remember a while ago, like this past summer, Russell Westbrook said, winner in life, I'm not a failure. I did this and this and this. I made out of my neighborhood, things like that. I'm a winner in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is true for every one of those players in the league. True for all of them. Made it out of their situations, made life better for themselves and for their family. That's all well and good. It's great. But at the end of the day, like I said, in my mind, success is considered. Like, I consider success getting the most out of your potential and out of your talent. And speaking on James Harden, I feel like right now he has not done it. If he had won a ring in one of those years, they had the ability to do so, and he was one of the main reasons, then he'd be good. Even if he failed in other years, because like we got Ron, who got 4 rings and lost 6 times in the finals. He got 4 championships and 6 finals losses. But we don't consider him a failure, like, because we know he got the maximum out of his talent and potential. Like, there's really no more he could have done.
But some people still hold him short because Jordan's the standard for him, or Kobe's the standard for him.
I don't think that's fair to LeBron to like hold him to a standard of what another person did. And like, I know a lot of people, like, you know, obviously LeBron wants to be considered better than Jordan. Like, but I feel like in my mind, you can't keep looking at him and saying like, you did this, but he did that. That's not fair to him at all. So that's like comparing this podcast to a different podcast, like the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. That's like comparing us to them just because we both have 2 guys talking about basketball. It's like, that's not fair to be like, oh, we're not good because y'all don't have many viewers as them. Like, we're not them. We're not trying to be them. But our own thing. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, we constantly comparing what LeBron does to him, but LeBron is his own version of success. Like, we'll probably never see nobody win 6 rings and go 6-0 in the finals again. Like, basketball too good all across the board to be doing that now. Like, that's not taken away from Mike, but at the time Mike did that, the league was like, for lack of a better word, watered down. Like, there was only a couple good teams. Like, only a couple teams you really had to worry about. Like, it was tough and it was physical, but in terms of talent, nobody else had the talent that he had around him, along with himself. So I'll never see that again, unless the Warriors, they Steph and KD and them would have stayed together for a little while longer. But even they lost that third go around because everybody broke down and got hurt. It's one of those things. Like, we could say Shaq and Kobe could have probably did it, but ain't no telling. Like, after that third one, that 4th year, they did not get it done. Like, the league is more balanced. Like, talent is more distributed amongst multiple teams now. Like, true, just last year, playoffs, there was 4 stars in the conference finals. Out of the 4 teams in the conference finals in the East and West, there were 4 stars that was going to get their first ring. Out of all 4 teams. So, the 4 teams that was there, somebody that had never been to the finals before. What happened when Mike was playing? Like, Mike, every year, The third year, you retired or whatever, and then Hakeem Olajuwon won the next 2 years. Mike was not in the league, and then it was Mike again. So that just lets you know, like, for 8 years, 2 people won Finals MVP. Think about that.
Yeah.
When is that ever going to happen again? 8 years, 2 people won Finals MVP. One of those things, like, I don't think people think about it. But I'm sorry, that's to getting away from the topic. But we can't keep. What I was trying to say is we can't keep comparing what does to what somebody did before them. This is not going to be the same across the board. He's not going to do everything that he did. LeBron not going to do everything that Kobe did. Kobe ain't going to do everything that Mike did. Clearly, and Kobe the closest thing to Mike, really. Kobe ain't getting it done like that. Why were you looking at Bron like, oh, you supposed to do that? Like, no, it's not going down like that. Just being real.
I feel like I'm not trying to.
That doesn't mean he's not a success. That doesn't mean he's not successful still in his own way. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm not trying to sit here and be like every player should get a pass, because it's like it's basketball is a team sport, so you can't sit here and expect every player to win the ring, because there's so many factors that go into a team. You know what I mean? We had this conversation before on the podcast where it's like, yeah, we did with loyalty, right? With Dame and Brad Bills. Like, to a certain extent, you have some control over your career, right? And let's say the Warriors when the Raptors won, or when the Raptors beat them. We all know good and well the Raptors would have got smacked if they had a healthy Warriors. We all know, right?
Right.
But I can control the fact that KD got hurt and then Clay got hurt. If they had one of them, we know the Warriors would have won that mug. Like, that's just how the game goes. Last year, if the Nets were healthy, they would have got the Bucks. If the Suns went against one of them healthy teams, the Suns might not have made it. You know what I mean? Like, if any of them teams were healthy, the Suns had a good chance of not making it. But now we're going to call Chris Paul's career short or a failure because he didn't make it to that one finals. When in actuality, was that really a finals team? This year, they're proving it. They've proved it so far that they've went around and smacked everybody. They still got a winning streak. Like, but we can't sit here and define every single player's career success or failure based off of the team success. You know what I mean? Because it's so fickle. It's so many minute things that have to go right or wrong for team to win. But I like the point that you said that if they have a championship caliber team, that changed the conversation. So if James Harden never had a team, we felt like that team could have made it to the finals. That team right there should have been that team that got him over the hump. So that we can look at the 04 Lakers. Were they a little bit more gassed up? Yeah. But still had Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, GP was old and Karl Malone wasn't really the mailman, but you still got Kobe and Shaq. That's all. You still got the main core. You have enough role players to it. That was a championship caliber team. You can look at the Warriors right now, for instance, right? They still have Curry. They still have Draymond. Clay's not there. We're not expecting him to win a championship. So Steph Curry, whatever he does this year, free willy, go crazy, go nuts, do what you do. But the fact that the Warriors are playing so well, that changed our perspective and expectations in them. So now if they fall short, we're going to say, hey, what were you doing, bro? Why didn't you win this year? Or why didn't you do better this year? You know what I mean? So like now the conversation is changing because the team is a little bit more, they have more success than what we were expecting, or some of us were expecting. And so it's like the dynamics of team versus individual success is a very fickle thing. So that's why I said with KD, him winning the